Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show designed to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What about yourself?
Oh, man, listen, it's getting hot in Oklahoma. It's getting hot in the NBA. It all matches up.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, listen, man, we're going to jump right into this, man, because we got some things going on. Let's talk a little bit about the playoff picture. But folks, before we go to that, as always, we're going to want you to hit that like, that subscribe button, and that notification so you can get all of our content. Ken,
Exactly.
we had a great show. Last show, a lot of input and
Right. A lot of comments.
A lot of comments, man. And it's always nice to hear from folks and to get their input.
To get their opinions and, talk about their favorite teams.
No doubt, no doubt. So, Ken, what I have brought up here, this is from NBA.com. This is the standing. So, folks, we want to talk about where do we project what's going to be happening. Ken, let's start in the East. Ken, what are your thoughts on let's say who's going to finish 1, 2, and 3?
Well, Boston has that all wrapped up. So tomorrow, Milwaukee will play Orlando, and I think New York will play Brooklyn. So, if both teams win, Milwaukee will get that second spot. So, but Mike, I'm gonna say this: between the 2 spot and the 3 spot, in the playoffs, it's all about winning at home and taking home court advantage from the other team. If you can't win on the road, I'll say you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So it's just that simple to me. Milwaukee limping into the playoffs right about now. New York, they on the fast track, playing well. I just don't know if they have enough to get to that conference finals, but that's just me. I want to go down to the play-in.
Yeah.
Pacers, Heat, Bulls, and Hawks. I'll say this, Mike, is that if the standings as it is what you're showing right now, the Pacers would play the Hawks and the Heat would play the Bulls. I would probably have to go with Indiana winning that, and probably I'll go with Miami. As far as it's just that simple.
So you don't see the 76ers. Now, we do know Embiid hurt his knee again.
Again, right. Exactly.
So
shut it down.
We don't know how. See, I'm not convinced. So who do the 76ers play tomorrow? Do you know, Ken?
I'm not sure who they play. That may have depending on if they win or lose, the Pacers could move up to 6, and 76ers could move down into the play-in bracket.
So they play the Nets.
Who do?
The 76ers.
The 70s? Oh, okay. All right. I had that wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. They play the Nets because I didn't know who they played. They play the Nets tomorrow. And so we should say that is probably going to be, man, I don't know though, Ken, if Embiid doesn't play, I think the Nets could beat them, man.
Right.
And then that's going to push them probably into the play-in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And that's crazy, brother. And when we look at like you said, the Pacers play the Hawks, so we're going to give the Pacers that. So we're going to say the Pacers. So if the Pacers win, the 76ers lose, the Pacers going to move into the playoffs.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So the 76ers will be battling it out in the play-in. In the play-in, man. Because when I saw him yesterday, and he just made a move and came down on that knee, and he was like, "Come get me." You know what I mean? And that was Ken. That was crazy, man. So you think they should shut him down for the remainder
Man,
of Embiid?
yeah, man, they should have. I don't even know if they brought him back, Mike. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, because I mean that's your
Well, since we
franchise
on that
player.
subject, what do you think about
We always
Giannis?
talk about uh 76ers, as far as them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with a banged up Embiid, I just don't see that happening. So why risk a severe injury which it could cost them? I'll say cost them maybe the start of the season. So Philly has to make a decision on what they want to do. As I always say, owners look at it as a investment. So
Mm-hmm.
are you going to take your risk, in which I don't think you have a good shot at coming out of the East,
Yeah.
or shut them down, get them ready for the season, and look for next season.
Yeah, man, that's always right. The challenge, because the window is not, the window is not
Right.
wide open, So, but I agree with you, man. I think the risk is too great. He's been hurt once. He spent, he had surgery. He was off for a while. He's back now. It seems like he hurt himself again. It might be time to shut him down. But what about Giannis?
From what I hear locally, he should be ready for the playoffs. Coming back from I'm gonna call it the sprained calf, or so that's the word around here. I think if it's I'll say this, it's a repeat from last year.
Yeah, with the back thing.
Yeah. So Mike, Giannis not getting any younger.
Mm-mm.
So, that opportunity for Milwaukee to, let's just say, compete, to go to the finals, that window was shrinking or closing. I'll put it that way. Because if Giannis can, let's just say, be healthy in the playoffs, I mean, I get it. Everyone is, let's just say, sore, hurt, dealing with some injuries. But, we saw it happen last year where, back, he couldn't do it. So,
yeah,
and I just don't think they have the enough firepower to compete without him.
No, they don't. But I think it'd be interesting to do a show before the playoffs and talk about what these teams need to do to win the championship. And I think one of those things, Giannis needs to do less. That's the
I
problem.
agree. Right.
He needs to do less, man. He doesn't need to bring the ball up. I think he's got to get more in the action. He's got to pass the ball more. He's got to rely on his talent around him. And I think Giannis he gets in his do-it-yourself toolbox, and he's just going to just go right through you. And I think he's got to, because to be honest, man, the Bucks looked pretty good when he wasn't in. I know the Bucks are not better without him, but the ball moved. It didn't stick. It was less one-on-one play. They seem to rely on each other better. And so I just think somehow he's got to understand, for his longevity as a player, he's going to have to do things a little differently. So Ken, we think, do you think the Bucks will go into Orlando and win?
And I mean, as far as Mike, I'm gonna say this again. I don't see anyone competing with Boston coming out of the East. It's just, to me, it's just, I know they, the other night they played against New York. They didn't really show up, and I just don't think they had any interest of showing up either. But I just don't see anybody coming out besides Boston. They may get a little, let's just say, trouble maybe in the finals of the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe 4-1, 4-2. But I just don't see anybody beating them. That's
Yeah, I mean they look great, then they don't look great. I mean, like Boston, I'm always leery about a coach that throws the towel in when your team's not playing well. And the message that sends to the team, and the fact that, well, we can't compete, so we just gonna quit on you. And Missoula has done that several times this year. And I just don't think a championship team, I don't see Denver doing that. I don't see the Bucks doing that. I don't see quality teams, although you may have a bad night,
That's not the
you
norm
compete.
from other
You know, you
teams.
may pull your players. Yeah, you may pull your players out with 2-3 minutes left and you're down by 15 or something like that. But you don't sit your players the whole half. I mean,
No,
that's
you
just
don't.
you quit. You actually quit. And see, that's why I can't have respect for Boston, man, because you as a team, you should dig in. You know, you should fight back, man. You don't throw the towel in, man. And you the number one seed. You got the best record in the league, and you quit at halftime multiple times. No, Ken, that to me is that's not a winning culture. You may win a lot of games, but when I say winning culture, I'm talking about championship winning culture. Could you see the Bulls doing that?
Oh man,
Could you see
stop.
Phil Jackson saying, you know, but we had a terrible first half. I'm not going to even play you guys in the what? No, what the Bulls going to do is chase you down. Okay, they you know they go
Different
what
era.
you know to even talk about the Golden State Warriors, man. They were going to chase you down. They not going to sit back and come out at halftime and be on the bench. So to me, I have a problem with that philosophy in Boston. And Ken, to me, Boston is a team that has always been pretty good during the regular season. These last, 5-6 years, especially with Jason Tatum and Brown and so forth, they've always been a pretty good, regular season team. But they haven't showed me anything in the playoffs. Really, they haven't. And until you get to that championship and you compete at a high level, then I don't respect you as being able to win that chip. Now, they might change my mind this year, but I've seen them. And they played
Okay.
against New York, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But let's go to the Western Conference, Ken. So the Thunder then slipped up into that. You know, we got a 3-way
I
tie,
know.
but the Thunder has, if all of them win on Sunday, the Thunder's the number one.
Okay.
Okay. And supposedly, if the Thunder loses and Denver and the Timberwolves both win, the Timberwolves have the tiebreaker. So they would be
Okay.
the number one seed. So what we're looking at is a scenario because of what Victor did to him last. I mean, that was man, Ken, was that a game?
That was a nice game.
Man, them young boys came in. And they didn't even have Vassell with them. They came in, man, and they went to work, man.
Yeah, they did.
So you got Denver probably, depends on what Minnesota does. I mean, Denver might be that third seed. I mean, and that's that. And I'm not saying they cannot be okay. I think because the Thunder are young, that's the only thing I have to hold against them. I don't know if they get to the Western Conference Finals, can they handle that pressure? But clearly, having home court advantage,
helps
oh
them
man,
out.
helps
But
that
the
young
other,
team out.
but the thing, yeah, I get it. But the thing about it, Mike, the Thunder just don't have that playoff experience, or even I'll say players who have been, let's just say, tried and tested in the playoffs. That's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, the playoff is this is just a different animal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope they do well, but I just see Nuggets coming out of there again. Like I said before, the other thing that I see also is that the Clippers and the Mavericks could end up with the same record because they're a game apart.
Yeah, they're a game apart, and I think the Clippers are going to finish ahead. Kenny, only the reason why I say that is because the when you look at the Suns, okay, their last game is against the Timberwolves.
Who
Man,
last game? I'm sorry. Who last
The
game is?
Phoenix Suns. They're at Minnesota.
Oh,
So that's probably gonna be an L for the Suns,
yeah,
man. And they gonna so that's why I think the Pelicans are going to get that final 6 spot. I just don't think the Suns are gonna
that
go
sixth spot.
Minnesota with everything that's on the line. This is first place. This is basically home court throughout the Western Conference playoffs, and they are at home. So I do not see Phoenix come, especially as inconsistent as they have been. We put them right up there with the Bucks with their inconsistency. And when you look at that, I don't think they can beat Minnesota. I just don't see it, brother.
You don't
and
think
so, nah, man. So I think the Suns are going to stay where they're at. The Lakers are going to stay where they're at. The Kings are going to stay where they're at, and then the Warriors. So, Ken, look at that play-in and tell me what two teams come out.
Man, so let's just say the Suns versus the Warriors.
Warriors in that 10th spot.
I'm gonna go with Golden State. That's just they're tested playoff wise, but I mean that's gonna be a tough one, man. But Phoenix will, if they get the three amigos going, I mean, yeah, they play with. I mean, they win. I'll put it that way. The Lakers and the Kings.
Man,
I just I'm. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, Ken. Do you think the Lakers going to come out?
Yeah, they will. The Sacramento has just been, Mike, for me, a disappointment. And I know they've had some injuries. Monk, he's been out for a while. I'll put it that way. And I just think that he's their engine as far as the team is concerned. On both ends, on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And then he can light it up on anybody. I know he comes off the bench, but as far as I'm concerned, he should be starting, but that's a whole different story. So they probably going to be without him in this play-in. So I just see that the Lakers coming out of beating Sacramento.
So you think that coming out the 7th and 8th seeds are going to be the Lakers and the Warriors?
Correct. Yep.
And you don't think the Suns are going to even make the playoffs this year?
I see Golden State, just coming out of that for whatever reason. I just, my gut is saying Golden State.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, that would be pretty sad,
right?
For the Suns with all that talent, with KD and when has KD not made the playoffs? I mean, even when he was in Brooklyn, they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
That. Think about that for a minute, man. Booker and KD and Bradley Beal. We understand he was in Washington, so he, all he could do was watch the playoffs. But these two guys, man, they always postseason. If they can, listen, if they do not make the playoffs, that is a terrible season for them.
Well, yeah, I would say so too. But the thing about it, we always say this, that, when you make these type of trades, it's not going to happen instantly. And for me, they couldn't get on the court. All three of them couldn't get on the court at the same time.
But brother, that ain't no excuse though.
But
because we can say that about. See, this is what, again, you and I understand that.
Okay.
But this is the same thing. We can talk about the Bucks. How many times has Chris and Giannis and Dame been on the court together? Man, it's been a handful of times.
Right.
Exactly. And so, but the expectation is still the same because you got KD, you got Booker, you got Beal. They're supposed to be winning games. The reality is, man, look what just happened going into OKC. When I found out, of course, I knew Giannis wasn't playing, but when I found out Dame was out,
it was over. Yeah.
Where's the scoring coming from? I mean, who you got one guy you got a key on, which is Middleton, and Bobby. You're gonna put some pressure on Bobby. Everybody else, you say beat me, and come on, man, that's impossible, man. So I just, man, starting the season, we would have never said the Suns are not going to make the playoffs.
What about Golden State?
Oh, well, okay, but see, I still, for me, I said this when it happened, Ken. The punch heard around the world.
Stop, Mike.
Man, it destroyed their culture, bruh. It destroyed their relationship. They might even want to talk about it, but that, to me, that wounded that organization so badly, and they had to take a step back. They were never the same after the punch. And so I just, Golden State, if Golden State makes it, man, they going out in the first round, bro. They going out in the first round, bro. You know, when you look at what OKC has done to them this year, when you look at that's why OKC has got the tiebreaker over all the best teams, because they have beat the best teams.
Oh yeah.
And so I just don't think you're gonna come into O-Town, bro. When we down here, you know, I got the Bucks hat on, but I also got to represent the Thunder because I'm in Oklahoma. You're not gonna come to O-Town, man, when we got the home court advantage and think you're gonna win. No, man, this place is gonna be mad.
Oh, this
place is gonna be mad, Ken.
So let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. So is Oklahoma City the Sacramento Kings of last year?
I would like to say they better.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'd like to say they better. I would like to say when I look at OKC, I look at a team that has all the potential and the upside to compete for championships. Like they just need to, man, right now, next year, they just need to fill in a couple of pieces, right? Get another big man down low. Man, I'm telling you, man, OKC is if they don't do what they did last time, start letting folks go. Kevin gone, Russ gone,
yeah,
okay, Hart gone, right? Ibaka gone, right?
For sale.
Right. If they don't do that, I'm telling you, man, the Thunder gonna be around for a long time because they that young team that you have to take serious, man, and their record proves it. And they've been playing great basketball all year long. I don't think they have I don't think, like you, Ken, I agree. I don't think they have enough to win a championship. I just think you have to go through some things. I think you got to have some setbacks. I mean, we can look at basketball history and we see the setbacks and you got to climb through some stuff before you can get to the top. But yeah, they're going to be a tough out, man. Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns is coming back. He just did come back. I think he just came back. So they're going to be healthy. And man,
but how healthy?
They got Denver number, right? You know, they didn't beat Denver. They win the tiebreaker against Denver. So, and if they get that 2 seed, that means, see, to me, Denver, the biggest plus that Denver has, not that just, you know, they have the best player in the league, which is Jokic. We got to give him that. He's the best player in the league. And you know, for a long time, you know, I was pushing my boy Giannis and some others, man. But nobody affects the game like Jokic does. And so what I'm going to say is this. The advantage they have, though, Ken, is home court. When you got to go to Denver, nobody want to go to Denver. Nobody want to play in Denver. You see what I'm saying? So you go to Denver, man. But if they don't have that, Ken, if they run up against a Minnesota in the finals, I would not be shocked if Minnesota win that series. Not at all. Because I've seen the way Minnesota didn't handle them most of the year, Ken. They ain't.
Oh no, Mike. I just think to me, regular season is regular season. Playoff time it's just like I said, it's a different animal. I just think that when you're going into the playoffs, and I think Minnesota is probably better suited to beat Denver than OKC is.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you think about, Ken, a Denver and a Minnesota, you have more of a slow down, half court competitive game. The Thunder are going to get out and run on you, or they're going to try to do that. They want to get in transition. No. What Ant-Man want to do, they want to get in the half court. They want to run their sets, just like Denver. They want to get in half court. They want to run their set. They only run when it's when it's a turnover or there's a long, 3-pointer miss, that's an outlet, they run situationally. Okay. OKC runs all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's part of their pushing the ball. So I just think, man, when you get to the playoffs and you got two dudes down there, Gobert and Towns, and going against Gordon and Jokic. And then you think about on the wing, you got Ant-Man, right? You got McDaniels. I just think they make it very difficult because they're not only tall, but they're also very athletic. And that's the thing that OKC doesn't have. They don't have that length. And the other thing, Ken, I say they don't have that that experience. I mean, Carl's been in the league for a while. Rudy's been in the league. You got Conley that's a veteran. You got Ant-Man that's been around. So I just don't. Just let me say this. I'm not saying Denver can't beat them going on the road. But what I'm going to say to you is I would not be shocked at all if Denver falls to Minnesota. Not at all.
Okay. All
right. It's crazy, man. I mean, we're gonna have to see. So Ken, do you like to play in now?
Oh,
do you?
I mean, I guess they put that in place so teams won't just start saying, I just want the number one pick, and I'm just gonna, not play, my starters and just, and I get it, in which, I think is a good thing. But the team that we haven't said anything about is the Clippers.
Yeah, that's probably how the Clippers want it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, we sneaking in the back door.
Right. So, and they playing well too.
Man, they playing real well. Well, they got Russ back,
right.
And I think that really, his absence kind of showed me, Ken, how much he means to that organization that we didn't really recognize. You know what
definitely.
I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, man, the Clippers are capable of beating any one of those top teams.
I'll say this with the Clippers. Yeah, they're trying to slip through the back door, quiet as kept, and just want to sneak up on, these other teams who are, top three. I'll say if Kawhi can just be 90%, what, they got a good shot, Mike. And then the other thing, Harden, if he just, let's just say, show up, but I'm just going to use this word, just show up, but play, give them, some production, he doesn't have to score 25, 30. If Harden can score on a consistent basis between 18 and 22, I'll take that. And night after night, not get, into his head that, I'm a dribble until the shot clock comes down to 5.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's the key, James Harden. What is he gonna do? And again, Ken, that's the only reason why I can't buy into the Clippers, because I haven't seen James perform in the playoffs, man. I just, what they say, future behavior, or past behavior is a great predictor of the future behavior, or something like that. Okay. It's too much evidence out there that says this dude is going to go, like, as you say, on a milk carton for you when it gets tough. He might have a first, because see, Harden, he good for a game or two. But, bruh, you got series, man, that you have to go through, and you have to be consistent. So until I see him play consistent, like even if they make it through the first round or the second round and get to the Western Conference Finals, we have seen James just disappear in the brightest of moments, man. So that's why I'm just not convinced, man, that he is going to do the same thing. Just like I'm not convinced that Chris Paul is going to, for the Warriors, is going to be a guy that's going to play at a high level, because he does the same thing in the playoffs, man. So I don't. So a lot of these guys, although they have look good during the regular season. Ken, we've been here before,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so I really don't know about them Clippers, man. But I know tomorrow will settle it all, man.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
hey, if you want to win, you got to go out and compete, man. And Orlando's going to be a tough game because Orlando has the potential, Ken, to slide into the play-in, I think.
That's
If we look at the standing, Orlando right now is 46-35. The
Okay.
76ers are 46-35. The Patriots are 46-35.
Oh my goodness.
So what happens is if Orlando loses and those other two win, they in the play-in.
They slip down to 7.
Yeah. That's so what I'm saying, why I want the Bucks to go in there and do, man, it's got to be a dog fight. Because if you telling me that if I win, I avoid the play-in, oh, I'm good, right?
Right.
But and the thing about it, I love Orlando too now.
I know.
But I got to go for the Bucks though. When they play my team, but they just have, Ken. This is what we talked about early on in the season, right? When you get to those 70, 75, 80 games, what does your body feel like?
Oh,
how much does you have left in the tank? And when I look at Orlando, I look at a team that doesn't have much left in the tank. Like somehow they need to, because as of late they have played terrible, man.
Also the last 15 games they've been struggling.
I mean, but these are young dudes though, man. And in college, you playing 30 games? You know what I mean? Like 30, 35, maybe 40 games. You know what I'm saying? You come to the NBA, you playing 82 games, right?
Right.
And you traveling more, and you in the hotel, and you here, you there. It's a totally different ball game, man. So I just think for young players at those end of the season, man, it's more of because you don't know really what to expect. And this is Orlando's best season in a long time.
Oh, definitely. Right. Yeah.
Like none of these boys have been here. The Wagner twins, Apollo. None of these guys have been in this position. Joe Ingles have, and I'm sure Joe has been trying to, let them know, hey man, this is how you need to pace yourself. This is what. But they just seem to me as a team that needs to catch their second win. I just hope they don't catch it tomorrow against Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man! And most of these games come on or started around noon, 1 o'clock. So you'll know pretty early. What's what and who's who and where they going. So
yeah.
But I like the season, Mike. I mean, we came off, let's just say March Madness and the tournaments for the women and men, and so now NBA playoffs. Let's go, let's hit it.
Yeah, let's go and hit it. And I know let's briefly talk about our game of the week,
okay.
which was the Celtics and the Knicks. And Ken, what I'm gonna say is this again. I believe in competition, and I believe you go out there and compete, whether you got something locked up or not. If that was the case, why even play your starters? And when I watched the game, Ken, in my opinion, Boston did try to compete. They just got whooped. And Mazzulla did what he normally does. He just throws in the towel. We ain't playing tonight, so we just gonna throw in the towel. I disagree with that mentality, man. That's what bothers me about Boston, is that Boston doesn't seem to be a team that will fight themselves out of a hole, which teams find themselves in. Even good teams find themselves in, right? What happened with San Antonio? San Antonio came back from 23 down.
I know.
Against Denver. Hey, to give Denver that L. This is a young team. You trying to tell me this veteran ball club, this championship, best record in the league.
Defending champions.
Thank you. But I'm talking about Boston now. Best record in the league. You talking about Jason Tatum, MVP candidate. Drew Holiday, all these other Porzingis and all these. Y'all don't have that fight in you?
Mike, to me, they weren't even interested in playing. I'm just gonna be real honest with you. Brutally
honest. That's
honest.
a problem, though.
Well, okay, but then the New York saying, "Hey, we're trying to get the second spot, so we gonna come in here play like we hungry." Boston was just like going through the motions. Hey, halftime, okay, I'm good, and that's it. I mean, that's what it came down to. And then what I didn't like in the game is that they were almost down by 30,
Mm-hmm.
so they try to make this comeback, and then a couple of times New York was taking the ball out, and they just holding. I mean, ref hasn't said anything or blew his whistle or anything. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm looking like, come on, man. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, the thing about Boston is that they're gonna live by the three, die by the
Mm-hmm.
three. Um, I would respect them better if he would have just said, I ain't playing my starters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just call it a day. I mean, he probably would have got
Absolutely.
fined or whatever the case may be. Take the fine and just keep it moving. So yeah, I mean,
Kid,
Brunson.
if I'm a Boston Celtics fan, I'm very displeased. I'm very displeased with the coach and the team quitting when they're getting blowed out. I'm very displeased with that, especially at home. I'm like, your fans come out to see you compete, to cheer you on. Ken, when I'm watching that game, the crowd is like, man, they not even into it, right? They have nothing to cheer about, man, because they're down by 30. And it's like, dude, like what is people are paying. I don't care if you can listen. I don't care you got the number 1 seed locked up. Your job is to go out and compete. You're getting paid millions of dollars.
Right.
What you paying whether you win or lose, do the paycheck change?
Nope.
So let me say this. Why didn't they just dock them then? If they gonna only play a half, then guess what? You get paid half for the game. Oh, they ain't gonna have that.
That ain't right. That ain't gonna happen.
They gonna have that. But that's what you're gonna give the fans. So to me, man, I just think it's a dangerous practice that Mazzulla had. I've never seen a coach. No, because most coaches are like, if you got down by 20, then you're gonna get this embarrassment or you're gonna come back yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Most coaches is not gonna pull you out and say, well, we just wasn't playing as well and blah blah blah. We're gonna have nights like that. Dude, stop it. I mean, they should have fined him as a coach for doing that, man, because it is people don't understand. The fans watch the game because we want to see these guys compete and play
Right.
hard, man. We don't want to see you sitting on the bench and you gave up. Man, I don't see.
Pay a lot of money too.
Ken, a lot of money, brother. A lot of money. So see, that's why I'm not bought into Boston, because I don't. People can say, well, when it really matters, they're going to do this, that, and the other thing. Prove it to me. That's all I'm saying. Just prove it to you. You're going to have your opportunity to prove it to you. Had your opportunity against Miami. That didn't work.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. So you have to prove it to me. And they have not been a franchise other than historically a franchise that won championships that can prove that they can get back to that level and win. I don't care how great a season they have. Nobody's going to remember what their record was. What was Denver's record last year? Nobody remember that.
Right.
They won a championship.
Right. That's all what counts.
What was the Lakers record in the bubble? We don't know, right? Regular season means it really means nothing when it comes to that chip, man. So you better get that chip. What do we talk about when the Warriors went 73-9? What happened?
Didn't happen.
Didn't get the chip, Ken. So in a nutshell, man, your who is going to be in? We just gonna cut through the chase. Okay. Who's going to be in the Western Conference Finals?
Mike, I'm gonna stick with what I've been saying all year. I mean, I'll see Denver and Boston in the finals. After it's all said and done.
Okay. I'm still a little out on it. So, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm out on it. You know what, Ken? And I'm glad you sticking to your original pick, because I would have been out of order asking you if you hadn't made your mind up, because I want to see what these matchups looks like. I want to see who's playing who, where they line up at, and then I will give my my most unscientific.
Oh, so what you say? You got some homework to do, huh?
Yeah, I got some homework to do. I got to go in the lab and figure it out, bro.
Okay.
But Ken, great show, man. You know, last word, Ken.
You know, the thing about it, Mike, is that we'll see how teams, I'll say, react as far as once the playoffs start playing is finalized, and see who rises to the top. So I think it should be exciting.
Very, very exciting, folks. There you have it. As we always say, the world of sports unites us. Let us take this unity in our everyday life. This is why they play the game.